Hey y'all, Camille here with the Capitol Report. Let's jump right into it. Last week, one of LOGA's board members, Art Price, the CFO of Badger Oil Company, made his way to the House Ways and Means Committee to give testimony. He expressed to the committee the dire situation their company is being put in because of what has happened not only due to the low oil prices, but the recent tax increases placed on their backs during the special session, and what he fears might happen in the now current second special session. To watch his full testimony, check out our Capitol Report resources page. Okay, as we have now closed out on this year's regular session, I wanted to give you a brief highlight reel of everything that happened during the past few months. Let's start out with legislation that pertained to the industry. We had more bills to watch than I will make you listen to, but here are the top 6. First, House Bill 465 by Representative Stuart Bishop decreases fees collected by the Office of Conservation, specifically decreasing the oil field waste collection fees. Now Act 277 was signed by the governor and will be effective August 1st. Second, House Bill 632 provides for the financial security requirement. It puts into law that financial security shall be no less than $2 per foot for less than 3,000 feet. This bill has been sent to the governor for executive approval. Third, House Bill 819. This bill adjusts the fee structure of the fees deposited into the Oilfield Site Restoration Fund from 1.5 per barrel of oil and condensate to a fee structure based on the average New York Mercantile Exchange price. This bill has also been sent to the governor for executive approval. Okay, fourth and fifth, LOGA had a strong opposition to House Bills 527 and 528 by Representative Robbie Carter, which both attempted to prohibit withdrawal of surface water and/or groundwater for the purposes of hydraulic fracturing. 527 was involuntarily deferred, and 528 was voluntarily deferred in committee. Finally, LOGA was actively opposed to Senate Bill 371 by Senator Brett Allen, which attempted to decrease the threshold where former operators could be held liable for orphan wells. This bill was voluntarily deferred by the senator in the House Natural Resource Committee and might be seen again next session. Moving on, while we still don't have a designated state butterfly, the legislature managed to get some interesting legislation to the governor's desk. The medical marijuana bill was one piece of legislation that made it to the governor's desk and was signed, expanding the list of diseases marijuana could be prescribed for, but they took glaucoma off of the list. Let's look at the Real ID bill next. This gives drivers the choice between a license that meets the federal act requirements or one that does not. It has passed out of the legislature and has been sent to the governor for executive approval. While there were data sharing concerns, Louisiana residents shouldn't have an issue getting through TSA now. And then we'll look at the Blue Lives Matter bill, which was signed just a few weeks ago, making Louisiana the first state in the nation to expand the hate crime laws to protect police, firefighters, and emergency medical crews. Louisiana will also get another first with the allowance of digitized driver's licenses. One of the last pieces of legislation from this session, House Bill 2, which controlled capital outlay, was held up in the House because of disagreements and will now have to be addressed over the next few weeks. The legislators were ultimately able to move forward to sine die and get ready for the second special session that began at 6:34 p.m. Tuesday evening. 2 weeks ago, the governor put out a call outlining 48 items he wants the legislature to address. As in the previous extraordinary session of this year, the call focused on measures to fix the state budget deficit of an estimated $600 million. The call also attempts to fix some unforeseen consequences from the first special session. The governor opened the second special session with a, "Here we are again. I've called you back here, even though it might feel like you've never left, because we've got unfinished business to tend to." And they've gotten straight to that business. The process of filing legislation has already begun, and currently there are 60 House bills and 9 Senate bills filed. Some of the items that will be handled that could impact the industry concern percentage depletion, deduction for net capital gains, inventory tax credits, and the net operating loss, or NOL, deductions. We are actively monitoring the process to protect our industry. The chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, Neil Abramson, called the majority of the legislation filed onto the agenda for Tuesday, right after the governor's speech. He kicked off the process by saying he wanted to go through the whole agenda because they have less time than they did in the last session. Abramson brought up House Bill 2, expressing that he wants to get everyone's project in. There were some changes, and the bill was moved out with amendments. The committee also met Wednesday to hear the rest of the legislation. We'll update you when the legislation we are concerned about moves further throughout this process. Don't forget, as we continue this longest consecutive time period that the legislature has been in session throughout its 204-year history, make sure you stay tuned for news on the oil and gas industry and the second 2016 special session right here. And please continue to share this video with your colleagues and friends. We'll be back with you shortly to give you an update on the special session. Until next time, this is Camille Ivy-O'Donnell with LOGA TV.